Welcome to Module 7 on procrastination. Let's take time to get present. Take a deep breath in, breathe out. In, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. The next inhale, scan the body from head to toe. And then just check in with the mind. Putting any worries or concerns aside while we set our intention. Get present to procrastination, what it is, and how to overcome it. So, what did you take on last week from the time that you watched the last module about the inner child? And what results are you getting? Did you celebrate them? So we're going to look at what is procrastination, why we do it, and how it affects our life, and then how you discuss some useful tools to overcome it. So what is procrastination? It's a long word. Takes a long time to say it. What is it? What actually is it in terms of how does it show up in our life? Well, the definition from Wikipedia is procrastination is the avoidance of doing a task that needs to be accomplished by a certain deadline. It's an intentional delay to starting and finishing a project despite knowing that it will have certain consequences. So the words intentional delay is in bold because there's something happening in the subconscious that's actually intending for us not to get started or finish a project. So let's look at some examples of procrastination. So it could be that project, it could be that assignment that we're wanting to do, and we know that there's a deadline, and sometimes we leave it right to the last minute. Could be a chore, cleaning the toilet, cleaning the kitchen. Could be with a relationship. Know to either start one or finish one. So 75% of individuals with ADHD were classified as chronic procrastinators. Procrastination is a pervasive problem among individuals with ADHD. That's for sure. So there's actually different types of procrastination though. So let's look at each one. So we have the perfectionist, the one that wants to get everything right. Every detail has to be right. Got to be A+, perfect. And because it has to be perfect, we don't actually get started. So, and we also don't get finished either. It's always ongoing. The dreamer. Number 2, the dreamer. What if this? What if that? Staring out the window. Yeah. Into the future. Yes, it will happen. Maybe next year, next week, next month. Then we have the avoider. No, pushing away. It's the aversion coming in. I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah, no. Put it off for later. It's not the right time now. Then we have the crisis maker. Oh, I'm in debt and I can't pay the rent now, and this and that, and I've got debt chasing me. And then we got the busy procrastinator. No, too busy to meditate, too busy to do this, too busy to do that, too busy. One of the a famous comedian called it the too busy syndrome. And yeah, that's a form of procrastination. So what type of procrastinator most resonates with you? And is there anything that you are procrastinating on right now in your life? Let's take a moment to consider which type. Okay. So here's a quote from Stephen Safran. Once you discover the reasons, you will be able to use more effective problem-solving strategies that will decrease the interference of procrastinations. So when we get present to the why we do what we do, then we'll be more effective in the problem-solving. Because then we can investigate it and say, well, where's that come from? If it's fear of failure, let's say, for example, it's because the last time I did an assignment, and then you can say, well, look, is that beneficial right now to hold that view, or should we let it go? But let's look into a bit of a deeper understanding as to why we procrastinate to get a better understanding. So on the left here, we have all the reasons as to why we procrastinate. Shame, big one. Just look at some of the work done by Brené Brown on shame to get present to that is an underlining emotion that prevents us from living a fulfilled life. Fear of failure, avoidance of negative thinking, high expectations. Yes, I mean, avoidance of negative thinking, that's like we don't want the negative, so we only wanted the positive. And give an example of that in terms of when I've been doing some videos showing photography. I've been avoiding doing it because the last time I did it, my partner had a lot of criticism and I found it very negative, and I'm pushing it away, avoiding it. I don't want the negative, and I won't even get started on putting the presentation together. So there's no reward or realization on the consequences. We're not present to that. Overwhelming emotions. You can't find the right starting point. There's not enough sustained effort. And sustained effort is something that we can develop through mindfulness and concentration. Time. Yes, that relationship with time comes in again with this procrastination. Put it off until you have more time, more time. When will you have more time? Nobody knows, but we'll put it off. We'll put it off until we have more time. Sometimes we put happiness off. Oh, we haven't got time to be happy. We'll put it off. Delay it for the future date. We'll just put it in the diary. Yep, 2025 on this date. That's when we will be happy. Yeah. There's no time pressure or no accountability. So this is why it's quite hard when most entrepreneurs have ADHD, and if there's no time pressure to get things done or no accountability, this is where coaching comes in, then we don't do it. We just don't do it. We don't feel that pressure of time. We're left with our own autonomy and to just go with the flow and blow around in the wind. Whereas if we have a third party, someone who is a coach that's ringing us up, we're having a meeting every week. Have you done this? How have you done this? How are you getting on with this? Then they're holding you to account for what you said. So when you don't have that, it can lead into procrastination and you start to delay tasks till tomorrow. There's also anxiety that's developed around a project or a task. There's aversion to starting it, and you think that you have plenty of time. And this perfectionism as well comes in. So that's why we do what we do, okay? But how does it actually affect our life? Well, here's a survey in 2015 found on average a person loses over 55 days a year procrastinating. It's wasting around 218 minutes every day on doing unimportant things. This is your time, guys, and time is the only thing you cannot buy. You can't bring it back. Increased stress. That's, putting things off to the last minute or doing that assignment the night before it has to be handed in creates more stress on the body and the mind. And the body keeps the score. So the consequences really is increased stress, and there's also some penalties for missing deadlines. If we don't return or pay that parking fine by a certain date, then it doubles. More importantly, is it impacts on relationships when integrity is out. The final product is not as what it could have been because you're not allowing accepting criticism to come in or being willing, being too attached to the outcome. And overall, it's increasing your suffering and you feel worse. So take a moment to ponder on the consequences of procrastination on your life and just share with the group. Just email us or come on to the tribe member area and comment. So now we know what procrastination is and why we do it. Let's look at how we can overcome it. So here's some tips on how to get started on projects or tasks. So you're at the start line, and it's about immersing yourself in the benefits for starting early. Yeah, really get present to this, because if you get present to those benefits, then you'll know why you do what you do, and it'll motivate you. So you get present to the feeling of getting on top of that assignment and doing it in good time, then it reduces the stress. You get a better assignment because you're less stressed and you're able to think about it more, not put yourself under pressure, and you get a great result at the end. And what the great result means, the consequence of that, is maybe that you get the job that you want, or you get the recognition that you deserve. Practice self-compassion. Allow yourself to fail, because if we don't learn to fail, we fail to learn. Break down the tasks into small chunks. This is a really good one to get started. So just start off with something small, just to get yourself in motion on the project. Set realistic goals. Don't say, right, I'm going to spend today on it and I'm going to get it finished in one day, if you know that that's unrealistic, because all it's going to end in is you blaming yourself and being upset with yourself because you haven't done what you said you're going to do. Plan breaks so you spend short sessions on tasks. Visualize the deadline and the consequences if you don't meet it. So start to weigh up the pros and cons. So motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going. So start to make the habits, form the habits in your mind. Remember, 21 days, 40 days to make a habit. So let's look at some other tips for the perfectionist, and we're going to go through each type of procrastinator and look at the tips. So if you are a perfectionist, be clear on the purpose. Assign a time limit to each task, summarize key information, reduce distractions, allow for failure, and get present to that. Without it, we don't learn. You've never seen a baby learn to walk without falling, have you? So maybe also adjust your standards to get the job completed on time. Maybe it doesn't have to be to such a high standard. It could just be a little bit lower, so just so you get it done. Charles Dickens. My advice is to never do tomorrow what you can do today. Procrastination is a thief of time. Yes, there's a concept called time thieves. Procrastination is one of them. It steals your time, and time is something you can never get back. Tips for the dreamer. Okay, so if you do find yourself constantly staring out the window, thinking about the future, then here's some tips for you. Get your feet back on the ground. Do some meditation. Just bring yourself back into the present moment. Set the SMART goals. Write novel ideas down rather than getting distracted. So if you do have an idea that comes, just make a note of it. Reflect on your progress. Track input and output for each task and get present to positive results. Following through is the only thing that separates dreamers from people that accomplish great things. So this is about integrity, following through, saying what you do. That's what separates the dreamers from the people that accomplish great things. Say you do, do. Tips for the avoider. Okay. Overcome the emotion of fear, because that's the main thing that's holding you back. Stop worrying about what other people think. Really get present to this, because we can spend so much time on this, and it's a time thief. Because everyone's worrying about what other people think themselves. So why would you be? They're not thinking about you. Have a set time for emails, and just not do them at the first thing, because they can get caught up in emails and you start pushing, and you use it as a good excuse to avoid doing the worst first. Focus on the worst first. So there is a job, and then it builds up the confidence that you've achieved that thing. Contemplate on what you're avoiding. Investigate. Do insight meditation. What is it? What role are you playing in this? Why are you holding on to it? Why are you avoiding? What is it that you're afraid of? Break the task down to further chunks. Be realistic with energy and time required for each task, and reward yourself when you complete the task. Yes, reward yourself, because this reinforces the feeling of accomplishment. Just this posture is a positive posture, crossing the finish line. In a moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing to do. The next best thing is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing. Remember, the only difference between success and failure is the ability to take action. Here's tips for the crisis maker. Dispel the illusion that it is good to leave it to the last minute. It is not good. The reality is that you are suffering. Get it present to it. Make the consequences visual. Okay, so if you're doing a project, and if this project doesn't get done, you could lose your job. So you put a picture of the job center up, and you see that as a visual. Try using the Pomodoro technique to manage time better. So the Pomodoro technique is the tomato timer. So you've got a job to do, you set the timer for 20 minutes, and when the timer goes off, you stop. Give your brain a break to increase productivity. Drink more water. Have a break. Get present to the benefits of having more time to complete a task. Give yourself more time. Why do we have to do everything instantly? We're not superhuman. We're human beings. Give yourself permission to be human. Reward yourself every time a crisis is avoided. So keep doing this. So when you don't get into the being in that crisis, reward yourself and say, I didn't fall into the drama triangle. I didn't do that this time. Great. Yes. Reinforce it. Remember, 21 days, 40 days to make a habit. Got to keep reinforcing it. It's not just a one-off. We must be diligent today. To wait until tomorrow is too late. Death comes unexpectedly. How can we bargain with it? We can't negotiate death. No one knows how long we've got. So respect your time. And do the work and avoid procrastination. So the final one is the tips for the busy procrastinator. So get your priorities in order. Important tasks need to be addressed first. Get present to time constraints that you can only do so much in a day. This is where, if you look at the template for the day planner, you have the 3 must-dos. You put the 3 must-dos down. Get those done, that's good enough. Check that your tasks are linked to your overall goals and vision to make sure that that is the case. Why waste time on things that are unimportant and they don't help you get to the goal? So identify the purpose of your task and the expected outcome. Important tasks are the ones that add value in the long run. So the least productive people are usually the ones who are most in favour of holding meetings. Anyone ever worked for the council or a government organisation? I've worked in that space and had a lot of meetings and not much produce. Nothing really come out of it. Take a moment to see what you can do to reduce procrastination in your life. How can you stop this time thief? And then share with the group or share on the tribe member area. Now here's your invitation to do the work. Raise awareness on where you procrastinate and investigate why. Is it areas of work? Is it areas of relationships? Is it areas of finance? Just find out where it is and weigh up the pros and cons to procrastinating in that area. And then start to actually apply the techniques, the tips, and find out what procrastinators coming up. There's a worksheet that you can download on this. If you have any questions, please get in touch. Always willing to listen and hear your feedback, how we can make the world better. But start making your world better now by getting present to procrastination and how it affects you in your life because of this. Do you want to become a prisoner of the past or a pioneer of the future?